Hi there, Serial Trader here. Let's check in with the major US indices. Alright, so as of Friday, it looks like we do finally have some sort of short-term top in place here. And now at a minimum expecting, you know, some sort of proportional corrective decline. Now the potential of a, more significant top could be there, but until there's any reason to believe that there's going to be a larger decline, we should just be expecting, a fairly minor pullback. And of course, we'll observe the pattern as it unfolds. But right now, it looks like we do have this shorter term 5-wave sequence completed. Now we've had a fairly significant move down, certainly enough to tell the odds towards the scenario where we're having this, at least some sort of a ABC decline like this, right? Of course, until there's more pattern development, there's really no way of knowing what shape or form it will take. Okay, and now we'll head over to the Candlestick Chart. So on SPX, this is the daily chart. Now you notice we did a bearish engulfing candlestick, and that was after, well, we had this doji. Well, prior to the doji, we had the gap up, then we had the doji, then we had a bullish engulfing, no follow through. Then this candlestick, which is kind of an indecisive day, although it had a large upper shadow, kind of rejecting those higher prices. And then a very decisive bearish engulfing, although we've only closed just at the T line. We didn't close below the T line, so that's a slightly weaker signal than it could have been as far as a sell signal. And we did come down intraday and close this gap that we made prior to that doji star. So the gap's been closed. So that's kind of the minimum expectation for a pullback to close that gap. Now there is another gap to close down here, which is quite a bit further away. That's another potential downside target for a pullback. But we'll see if there's any follow through this coming week, starting Monday with this bearish engulfing. If we do have another negative day and close below the T line on Monday, then you can expect more likelihood that we have further down to come here in some sort of pullback. And the oscillator was overbought for a period of time, and now it's starting to roll back down. So that's kind of a confirmation on that yeah, we're finally short-term peaked and ready to come down here a bit. Okay, and on the weekly chart of SPX, let's see if there's any patterns here. Weekly chart, okay. So we had our bullish engulfing here. You remember that a few weeks ago. And that implied the next 3 to 5 candlesticks would be in that direction. So we had 1, 2, 3 candlesticks in that direction, in this case in the positive direction. So that met the minimum requirements for an engulfing pattern. So 3 weeks up, and now looks like on this third week, so as of Friday's close, almost a inverted hammer reversal signal, that long upper shadow there, okay? And if that's the case, then we could have some significant pullback here. But still on the weekly, well above the 3T line and the T line, so nothing concerning there. And certainly as far as the overall weekly trend goes, I mean, there's a lot of damage that would have to be done to start breaking this uptrend, right? Starting with taking out this first resistance level at 26.91.99, and we're quite a ways from that. And then there'd be multiple other support levels to take out before you could start turning more bearish there. All right, so that's SPX. Definitely expecting some weakness here with that, both looking at the wave count chart and also the candlestick chart here, bearish engulfing. Okay, so Dow Jones Industrial Average. The Dow's actually looking relatively stronger here. So no actual sell signal. This isn't a bearish engulfing or anything, just kind of a indecisive day, long upper and lower shadow. Still well above the 3T line and the T line on the daily. And almost looks like it came down just to find support at former resistance here. And closed above that still on a closing basis, right? So Dow looking a little stronger here short term than the S&P. And on the weekly chart, let's have a look. Yeah, nothing concerning here on the weekly chart. In fact, we just had a nice breakout there and a close above that weekly resistance level. And this candlestick looks very healthy. Closed on the upper end of the range. Certainly not a reversal signal or anything. So that is the Dow. And okay, let's look at the NASDAQ. That might be telling a different story here. I think it is. So NASDAQ composite, very clear bearish engulfing after a doji at the T-line, okay? And a close well below the T-line. And now the 3 T-line is crossed below the T-line. And actually we closed below that simple 20-day moving average as well. So NASDAQ, very strong sell signal here. And the NASDAQ was very mature looking in its uptrend, okay? We had our triangle wave 4, this large, multi-month triangle wave 4. And then we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. So we can definitely count a clear 5 off the termination point of the triangle. And that could be a fairly significant top. We could have quite a pullback here if this 5-wave structure is complete. So it could be some tech weakness here. And there's certainly individual names in tech just getting absolutely killed after earnings there. So this fits well with that narrative. Okay, so definitely looking lower here, at least shorter term on the NASDAQ. And weekly, see if there's a nice pattern in the weekly, and there is. So weekly, NASDAQ had a doji star in the overbought condition last week. That was a little bit of a warning sign. Then this week, we initially went higher, but look at this. We've actually closed lower for the week, well lower for the week, and we did an inverted hammer, so a bearish reversal signal after that doji. So even on the weekly here, I'd be expecting a fairly significant pullback here in the NASDAQ. All right, so perhaps looking at some tech names for at least some short-term bearish trades. And, okay, let's go look at the VIX. Now, VIX still hasn't really revealed much. If there's going to be a larger drawdown or, a more significant pullback, you would expect VIX to just break out a little more than it currently has, although it's early. So initially it started looking like a pretty decent upward breakout on VIX, got as high as 1426 on Friday. Rejected quite a bit, though, off the peak there and just closed at 1303. So we're still very much range bound on the VIX for now. If it really starts breaking out and trending up, that will be a more bearish scenario for the equities there. All right. Certainly looking ahead to next week there. Monday should reveal if the bearishness will continue. And if it doesn't, if we just can't get below the T-line here on the SPX, and we start trending back up, then that'll be the direction to take, at least short term. But definitely favoring some bearishness to kick off the week. All right, we'll check back in. Serial Trader signing off.